USL Super League kicks off week 29 of action from LSC Stadium with Lexington Sporting Club hosting in form Spokane Zephyr FC. For visitors, today is about continuing their impressive momentum. Zephyr FC are unbeaten since March 8th, and those 5 consecutive results see them continue to be well within a reach of a top 4 and thus playoff spot. Lexington SC have struggled, 3 losses in a row. They need a result tonight to pause the separation from the rest of the pack and keep their playoff hopes alive. Jessica Charm and Haley Sutton, our entire crew, welcome you to coverage of USL Super League on Peacock. And Haley, Spokane Zephyr are coming off an emphatic 3-0 victory against Dallas Trinity, their largest win margin of the season.
And it was quality all across the pitch, Jess. They won this game in every phase, in open play, on set pieces, individual skills shine while the team shined brighter. Spokane clicking at the right time as they try to get into that playoff pool.
And a huge part of Spokane Zephyr's improvement has been Ali Cook, and she is a contender for the best mid-season acquisition in the Super League.
Well, she has all the makings of a top striker, right? She's tall, she's skilled, and most importantly, she's fueled by a desire to score. Since entering the lineup, the team is 5-1-1. She's got 3 goals, including 1 from the spot. Most importantly, though, Jess, she forces defenders to make a decision. She opens up the attack.
Lexington SC, on the other hand, have had success against Zephyr FC in their previous 2 meetings. A quarter of Lexington's points this season have been picked up against Spokane.
It's an interesting situation that Lexington is in because they play hard for a full 90 minutes. It just seems like the results haven't been coming in their favor. Interim head coach Sam Stockley says they need some consistency. They had an honest conversation in halftime at their last game and hoping to find some form against Spokane later tonight.
And a player that has continued to impress Sam Stockley and work her way back into the starting lineup is Maddie Parsons. Came into Super League with a bright start, but has recently not been able to find as many opportunities.
And Coach Stockley talked to us about her position flex, says she has a tendency to float around the field. They've moved her out wide, hopefully to get her more involved in the play of attack, but 5 goals, 5 assists on the season. She can get it done.
Well, kickoff is just around the corner here from LSC Stadium. Can Lexington continue to find a way to be Spokane's Achilles heel, or will Spokane continue their fine run of form? Stay with us here on Peacock.
I shouldn't be here. That's what the first 3 doctors said. That even if I made it to remission, I'd probably never climb again. But I did, because I wanted a different answer. And I found it at UK Healthcare. It took a drug nobody else had yet. 12 rounds of chemo and a 16-person team. But here I am, right where I was never supposed to be.
Who is Lexington Sporting Club? We are the professional soccer team in the heart of the Bluegrass. From our Youth Academy to the Women's Super League to the Men's USL Championship team, we're building the future. From every corner of Lexington, we are united under one crest. This is your team. This is your community. Together, we are creating our story and leaving our mark. This isn't just any club. It's a club to call your own. Get your tickets today at lexsporting.com/tickets.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
We're back at Lexington Stadium getting ready for week 29 of USL Super League action to kick off. Spokane Zephyr FC visit Lexington Sporting Club in a 3rd meeting of the 2 this season. Jessica Charman and Haley Sutton here with you. And Haley, interim head coach Sam Stockley named an unchanged starting lineup for this evening's action.
It's interesting when you look at the formation as well. We had a really great chat with Sam Stockley earlier today. He said formation doesn't really matter. They focus on principles. So look for them to build out of the back and then watch this formation sort of shift. They like to send things out wide, get it to their playmaker, Maddie Parsons, and then get her in on net with a few other players as well.
Well, for Jo Johnson, it's one change to her starting 11 from that 3-0 trashing of Dallas Trinity. Winnie Bellata heads to the bench. Katie Murray earns a starting spot.
And earned it, she does. She got that late goal against Dallas to make it 3-0 for Spokane in that matchup. And I really am excited to see how Spokane comes out early in this one. Alyssa Bourgeois showing off the speed there on that right flank. She likes to get up the field and feed players like Ekich and Weinert up top.
Here's a look at Jo Johnson, Spokane Zephyr's head coach, and what a job she has done in turning the destiny around of this side in what has been a remarkable spring season. Matt Thompson, our referee for today's proceeding. The atmosphere here, a 6 p.m. kickoff in Lexington, 3 p.m. in Spokane. Glad you're joining us wherever you are consuming Super League action form. We are back underway here as week 29 kicks off. It will be Lexington, the gals in green, of course, in the green uniforms from left to right. Spokane in the white with gold trim from right to left on your screen. And Haley, Sam Stockley, we had a great conversation with him, and he was very candid in saying that it felt like they did a lot of things right up until the moment they conceded that first goal last time out, but they have to be tighter.
Yeah, he told us at halftime he really had the team look in the mirror and discuss where they're at. He loves their effort and loves their training and where they're at, but they just haven't found a way to find that chemistry and that final touch, specifically in the attacking third.
Mackin launches this ball long. Wasn't able to find a connecting pass. Julie Mackin, who scored an amazing goal the last time Lexington picked up points in their victory versus DC. This will be a first opportunity for Spokane through Thomas and the throw-in. Thomas loops the throw-in forward. It's easily picked up by Maddie Parsons. Maddie Parsons, who is playing wider than maybe fans have been used to seeing her, but that's very tactical from Sam Stockley.
He talked about how Parsons is one of the hardest working players both on and off the field. She's not as classically trained as a lot of these players who have come out of bigger programs or had that NWSL experience. And so she has a tendency to wander around the field. He said she's really good at stretching the point of attack and playing those crosses in. However, they need her to be in the middle of the field as a target. So stretching her out wide, providing those targets for her to play that ball in, is she sort of found her new role on this team.
Well, Lexington have earned a corner, and today's Lexington SC corners are presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. Perez stands over this service. She has had some great service this season. Perez is punched away. Important interception by Hope Heisey in goal. A long shot from distance. Heisey will see that one sail over the roof of the net.
And Jo Johnson will be really proud of the effort for her Spokane side. She talked about one of the things that they need to be successful at is defending corner kicks. It's where Lexington gets a lot of their attacking chances so far as this season has gone on. Counterattacks, crosses, and corners. Those are the three things Jo Johnson is looking to improve on in this match.
Here's Vernus. To Perez. A splitting pass. One touch over to Mackin. Mackin further forward now. Hannah White. White trying to round the defender. And White just squares it back into the middle of the park. Parsons has drifted wide, and then a miscue pass from Maddie Parsons.
Just a little heavy on the touch there from Maddie Parsons, but the idea's there early, and that's something that Sam Stockley talked to us about today, just saying how they need to lean into their game plan early and then hold on to it for a full 90.
Well, here is today's Lexington Sporting Club injury report brought to you by UK Healthcare, and as you can see, the list absolutely an arm's length for Sam Stockley's side, including players like Sydney Shepherd, who have been key to this team.
One thing about the Super League, it is definitely next man, next woman up mentality, and Lexington has really had to test that this season. It's really just been a challenge, as I mentioned earlier, finding that consistency in the rotation. But as of late, Stockley has talked about the training and how important it's been to translate what they see on film out onto the pitch.
Foul is called. Shane Moyer able to draw the contact from Jaskinek. And Bridget Skiba with some early touches with the ball at her boots. It's been tough for the goalkeepers for the gals in green recently. They've lost 7-0 cumulatively over their last 2 home games. But today, across the first 5 minutes, have not been tested by Spokane Zephyr. Moore caught in possession. Here comes Spokane. Bourgeois driving, cutting, beautifully done. It'll fall to the top of the box, winding through some traffic, a big save. Bridget Skiba comes flying across to stop the shot from Katie Murray that was certainly goal-bound.
Well, and here's why she was inserted into that starting lineup. Kind of pings around. I almost wish she would have got the shot off sooner, but she sees a window and forces Spokane to make the save in net. But Bourgeois, I talked about her in the lead-in. She is so speedy. She changes the game from that right flank, the way she's able to change her pace and accelerate past her defenders, able to slot that ball in and create the chance there.
It will set up an opportunity for Amina Ekic to serve this ball in. Ekic floats it, and it's down. Did it cross the line? And it did. Spokane Zephyr have the goal. It's Sydney Cummings with the header, and set-piece magic between Ekic and Cummings. Cummings with 2 goals in the last 2 matches.
Well, she cannot be stopped when it comes to her goal-scoring prowess. Of course, it comes off another set piece. I believe that's how she scored against Dallas as well. It's a beautifully floated ball in, a lot of bodies in the box, but she uses her head and unfortunately goes back despite Skiba getting her hand on it. As you take another look there, just couldn't quite hold on to the ball from the goalkeeper's standpoint. But it's a great goal for Sydney Cummings. You mentioned it, her 2nd goal in the last 2 games. She has been on fire lately offensively.
It was really interesting, Haley. Looking at that replay, it looked like Skiba was inside her net. So when she dove, despite getting hands on it, she was behind the line. So as a former goalkeeper, not quite sure about that positioning from the corner kick. And Spokane doesn't take much to find the back of the net with the form that they've been in lately. Another goal for them. Ekic, magical. Ekic continues to drive forward. Taps it into the path of Cook. Cook crosses it. It's cleared away partially by Perez, but cleaned up again by Spokane. Thomas. Cummings driving forwards. Thought there was contact, and the referee, Matt Thompson, agrees. And we'll get another look at the contact here as Cummings from goal scorer to foul drawer.
And I've loved seeing just the growth of defenders going on the attack in this league. We see it with Sydney Cummings here as well. Her skill on the ball as she's able to slice and dice there, forcing the Lexington defender to foul her. I would have been curious to see just how far she was able to get there with the dribbling, with the form that she's been as of late. But earns a dangerous set piece where we saw a defender in Jill Aguilera score for Carolina off the set piece just last week.
Ekic had the assist from the corner. This time she'll play it short and wide. Early delivery. It was Kenzie Weinert getting close to a touch. In the end, Bridget Skiba able to swallow her angle. Let's take a look at Sydney Cummings, the goal. You see what I mean about that positioning, Haley?
Yeah, I got a little distracted there as I was trying to watch, but to your point, she was standing in net. She was in position to make the save, so you almost wonder if maybe the sun was in her face. She just didn't take a chance to look down and see where her positioning is. But I go back to Sid Cummings. Those balls into the box on corner kicks are so difficult to navigate because you're trying to get around so many different bodies, your teammates, the defenders. And so even getting just that little flick on goal with her head, redirecting that pass, and it started with the cross as well. It had great pace on it. So Sydney was just able to redirect it there.
Sam Stockley told us the minutes after conceding so important for this Lexington side. Can they defend in this moment? Perez just slams it clear. They've had a habit, a dangerous habit of conceding goals in at least pairs. You saw them in the Carolina game conceding 3 in about 10-minute span. They have to be smart defensively as well as look for opportunities going forwards.
Well, and it's so challenging because I feel like Lexington gets in these situations where they're playing from behind or maybe playing to their opponent's tempo rather than playing their style of game. And Stockley told us, you know, despite if we're winning, if we're losing, the format, the style of soccer that we're playing doesn't change. But I think the challenge in that mentality is you kind of get stuck in no man's land where you're constantly running around. We just saw it there on the opposite side of the field where there's so many bodies in the box, but there's no real organization. So having a leader on the field, stepping up and having that sort of leadership role to help keep them organized could certainly go far for Lexington.
Maddie Parsons, one of those players that Sam Stockley can be leading by example on and off the pitch, described her as a beautiful human being. So tackle comes in from Hannah White.
We spent a lot of time talking about Maddie Parsons as the fall slate rolled along. She just came on the scene so quickly, scoring goals the way she did. But she has a crazy backstory, Jess. She had 2 knee injuries when she was in college, so it kind of stunted the way her college development looked. She played at Chico State, a Division II school, and then coming out of college, she didn't really have that sort of polished nature that most players do at this level. She spent time training with men in a men's league, and that's sort of how she got recognized. And while she's relentless on the field and has that hard work, there's just a couple of things positioning-wise, passing-wise we saw in that last play that she needs to improve on.
Jaskinek, an early cross, was searching for Wynett. Those two have really good connectivity. Ekic trying to shape up for that shot. Ekic instead dinks it forwards. Couldn't find Emma Jaskinek on the run. We are getting confirmation that for Spokane Zephyr, this the best start in their club history. Sydney Cummings' goal, the quickest goal that they have scored so far in their Super League life. That goal coming in the 6th minute. That'll really settle Joe Johnson's nerves. And it's funny, Haley, you'll know this as a former player. A lot of times on long road trips, you talk about road legs. There were no road legs at all for Spokane today.
You know, they came out firing from that opening whistle, and I'll take it a step further. It is so much of a relief for your team when you can get a goal within the first 10 minutes. It just sort of settles the tempo a little bit. The confidence is flowing, as we've seen through Spokane, just through these first 13 minutes.
Bourgeois cuts it back. Strike from distance, and it sneaks its way in. Amina Ekic with a golden strike from outside the box. And Spokane Zephyr double their lead.
Well, Joe Johnson told us that Ekic's best quality is that she is dynamic, she is coachable. But I gotta be honest, Jess, I would not be leaving her wide open at the top of the box. I know this pass sneaks across. They weren't expecting it to make it all the way to the other side of the field, but she had all the time in the world, could have taken a touch if she wanted to. Instead, she loads up, hits it with the outside of her boot, and skips it right past Skiba.
Her 6th goal of the season. And don't forget, Amina Ekic has missed plenty of matches because being away with the Bosnian international team, she continues to be an absolute pivotal player for Spokane.
And you can see the confidence brimming as well. We saw her get that early nutmeg in the opening minutes here, and then just the confidence of the touch trying to go underneath her defender there.
Joe Johnson said in our chats this week that they just had to put the game to bed. Felt like they'd left a lot of points on the table. Obviously a draw and a defeat in the first 2 matches between these sides. She wants to make sure that she doesn't allow Lexington to hang around. White was looking for Lopez. It's just volleyed clear and away. Here's Ekic on the defensive side of the ball now, displaying another range of her immense talents, just shielding the ball.
Johnson told us that that's a part of the game they have really encouraged her to lean more into, and she has answered the call. Just an all-around dynamic player, and I know we talk about her from a goal-scoring standpoint. We just saw the prowess that she gets when she has an open look on net. But I'm more impressed with her ability to stretch the field, the way she draws defenders out, her individual skill, and setting up teammates. That's kind of an underdog role that she plays on this team, and it's been effective so far.
Parsons tries to spin this cross in. On the hop is headed away. Further forward by Jaskinek. Perez. Long searching ball. Lopez chases. Cummings defends away. Cheers to local beer. West 6th Brewing is proud to be the official craft beer of Lexington Sporting Club. Find their locally crafted beers all around the state of Kentucky, from the flagship West 6th IPA to Sixer Light Lager. There's something for everyone. Head to west6.com to visit one of their dynamic tap rooms and learn more about Stadium Ale, the official craft beer of Lexington SC. Lopez strikes that one straight into the boots of the defender Bourgeois. Maite Lopez has come in from loan from Angel City, the Colombian forward. It's a tough ask though when she doesn't see too many opportunities with the ball. We'll see if a set piece can create something for her now.
And it's so important for these young players to be getting experience. We've talked about this ad nauseum at this point of the Super League, just their ability to step in and play amongst professionals that have seen it all across the board, overseas, here in the States with the NWSL.
Perez, across too easy for Hope Heisey to come and claim. Hope Heisey, though, one of the most consistent goalkeepers in the league right now. 3 straight shutouts for Spokane. Hope Heisey has contributed marvelously in that time period. Emma Jaskinek will chase this one down. Jaskinek inside the box, square pass. Ali Cook couldn't get a toe on it.
And this is the challenge with how Lexington wants to play. There's so many bodies in the back of the box because they're so worried about conceding a goal that when they do get the ball back, there's no pressure up on the outside. They have to get opportunities like this where they pick it off in the midfield. We'll see what they can do with it.
Lopez tried to put it forward to Parsons. She's not going to win that foot race. Haley Thomas gets there ahead of her. LSC fans, visit lexsporting.com to get your latest Lexington SC news, merchandise, and discounted ticket offers. That's lexsporting.com. Julie Mackin will take this throw-in, loops it forward into the path of Parsons. Ekic going shoulder to shoulder with Parsons. Parsons try to get round her. Ekic does enough. And she'll comfortably get it back. A miscue from Spokane. A rare mistouch from Ekic allows the throw-in to be taken quickly into Lopez. And she can't earn the throw-in. The fastest 2 goals in Spokane history have been scored in this game. You talk about a dream start. Joe Johnson says they've started to really realize how they want to prepare for these long road trips. She talked about getting a flight that maybe allows them not to affect their body clock, And it feels like everything has been done right for Spokane to adjust to all the adversity that they face with their geographical position and the loneliness of where they're situated in the Super League.
It's so challenging to be where they are in the country when most of this league is based in the eastern portion of the country. We kind of related to the fact that both of us, my first TV job was in Montana, as we see the build there.
Murray can't get on the end of it.
But we sort of bonded over how difficult it is to get from the North Pacific part of the country anywhere else. She said we've just had to adapt. It actually set themselves up for success because when they go on those long road trips, it makes them, you know, appreciate the shorter trips or appreciate, you know, not having to always be on the road. But it is tough. The grind is tough. I think she said at one point the team was on a 13-game swing when they were down here in South Florida taking on all of the Florida teams. But it is certainly a challenge that we don't take into account enough, what these players are having to adjust to fresh out of college and trying to get going in their professional careers, and then adding the off-the-field adversity as well.
Well, the 5-game unbeaten span for Spokane has included 2 away trips, both in Florida, a 0-0 draw with Fort Lauderdale, a 2-1 victory at Tampa. You're going to have to pick up away points when you're a side that is looking from the outside in right now, and they've got off to a very good start of utilizing one of their games in hand to potentially pick up 3 more points to continue to close the gap on those top 4 spots.
Well, and remember, this was a Spokane side that really struggled to find their identity early in that fall slate. I know a lot of it was the travel, but too, the rotation, the international duty that a lot of the players were on. They just seemed like they were 1 or 2 players away from really looking the way they look in the spring. Now that they have everything going, I believe the term that Joe Johnson used is that the food tastes better when you're winning, right? And so I think having that sort of energy, having that confidence rather in the spring, I think the fall break was really good for them.
The beds are more comfy is also what she said. They are getting more restful night's sleep, and Spokane certainly came into this game looking rested, off to a bright start. Mackin tried to swing this in. 2 players collide for the gals in green, and when it rains, it pours. Get the latest Lexington SC news right at your fingertips by downloading the official mobile app powered by Fan 360. Get access to exclusive content while shopping for season tickets and LSC gear, all in the Lexington SC Fan app. Perez. And then a skewed pass. And Sam Stockley was, again, extremely candid with us in our conversations, and he mentioned some of the issues is with confidence of these players. Some of the issues is with a self-fulfilling prophecy of when you've conceded as many goals, unfortunately, as Lexington have in a short period of time, when you concede 1, you sort of feel like a second one is coming. So these next 10 minutes, key for Lexington to make sure they're able to shut out Spokane further.
And he's talked about how, you know, the first 35 minutes of that Dallas matchup, you would have never guessed that it's going to end in a 3-0 defeat. And so there's been these moments of brilliance, these moments of hope that he's really liked. The problem is getting that to translate into consistency. He wants to see it for a full 90 minutes. And look, this is tough when you're stepping into an interim role. He spent a lot of his time on the men's side of things for Lexington SC. So just been a challenging sort of transition for all of the players involved. I think the good thing that he can take away from this spring slate is that the girls never give up. It seems like Lexington is constantly working through a lot of those mistakes. The players are always locked in.
Madison Perez has 5 assists on the season. Will take this free kick. Perez drives it. It's headed away. A diving header comes crashing in at the back post. It's wide from Maddie Parsons.
And it was a good opportunity to maybe cut this score in half. Nice flick away by Hannah White, though, to keep it out of danger. Maddie Parsons crashing on that back post, but just a little out of reach.
Parsons again, bulldozing her way through. Wasn't able to get the end on the ball, but Parsons' work rate is so impressive. Mackin. Falls to Moya. Moya just looking for some runs ahead of her. It's a patient reset in the end, back to Perez. Lexington have had Slightly more possession at 52% of the ball as a big switch comes over into the 18, cleared away. But it's about how you use the ball, Haley, and in moments of transition like this, Spokane look very dangerous.
They just look organized, right? In the back, they compress and they drop their players back so that they always have numbers, and immediately when they win the ball back, they go into this aggressive possession, is how Joe Johnson described it, where they want to be relentless on and off the ball, stretching the field, getting it out to those wide players. They know they have speed in the wide channels.
Lopez. Trying to pull a move to get past the patient defense. She'll drop it back to Mackin. Mackin assesses. Just doesn't get the execution. Hope Heisey will catch this one with no pressure.
You would have liked to see that one sort of sneak to the back post where they had runners waiting. And again, the challenge of the formation that Lexington playing right now is that you technically have that two target players up top. It doesn't allow for the creativity of runs crashing in. So on balls like that are served in, everyone on the front line is stagnant because you're watching for your offside. So I think they just need a little bit more fluidity with those top three players working in and finding those channels.
Armour splitting pass forward into Murray. Murray looking to spin. Weinert. Murray won't get on the end of that. Good shielding by Lexington. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Mackin. Forward to Parsons. And Mackin trying to get round Ekic. Ekic with a last-ditch slide tackle, and then so well done by Amina Ekic. Misses the first. Make sure she doesn't miss the second.
And that's the defensive effort that Joe Johnson was talking about, just going the extra mile to get the slide in. She didn't have to. She could have just stuck her boot in the line of play and hoped that she got the interception. But laying her body out on the line after missing the first one, to your point, that's what's making her dangerous in her development in this league as it's gone on.
Lopez. Moya. Back to Trinity Watson. Watson, one of those newcomers. Played USWA League with Lexington last summer in her 4th game. There's Mackin. Crosses it in. Headed away. Only as far as Parsons, puts it back into a dangerous area. Flying save by Hope Heisey off of the header from Hannah White.
Well, it's a tremendous save from Heisey, but I'm impressed with the way Lexington stuck with this play. Bouncing balls are hard to get underneath, especially, you know, as they're kind of pinging around in the box there. I love White's ability to redirect the play. She has to force Hope Heisey to make a choice and make the save there, but it's encouraging if you are Sam Stockley, seeing your team, and I keep talking about it, their relentlessness. They stay in games for the full 90.
It was great to see Sam Stockley just applauding that moment. And I think what he's done really well as an interim is get some belief, even with the hard days. He said that better days are always around the corner, and he wants to instill that mental resilience into his side.
And it's difficult, right? You got to win this game in order to stay in the playoff conversation. And I know that picture is so wide open, with especially with those 3 teams that are kind of stuck in the middle of the standings. But for Lexington, this thing's not over. They can find a way to play their way back into that playoff conversation, but they have to start finding results earlier than later.
Great connectivity from Spokane. Jaskinek to Weinert. Weinert, all guns blazing, driving forwards. Vernis tackles, but Weinert pops back up. She's able to push it to Katie Murray. Here comes Cook. Cook drives it. Nobody home for Spokane to tap that one in.
Allie Cook has been such a great piece to add to this Spokane offensive attack. You see they're driving straight at her defender. No one crashing the back of the box to provide that support for her, but that's the dangers of having a player like Allie Cook play that central forward role. When she gets those balls out wide, she drags the defender with her. It leaves the middle of the box open for players to come through. Spokane has to be able to recognize that, especially if Lexington's going to keep it open for the rest of the game.
Sarah Clark across to Sydney Cummings, who got us underway early in the 6th minute of this match. It's Cummings and Ekic on the scoreboard to see Spokane Zephyr in the 2-0 lead away here in Lexington. As Lexington carving through right now. There's a strike and a slip, and it's the decision making there that is a little disappointing from Kate Doyle.
I like the idea of challenging Hope Heisey, right? You can't score if you don't shoot. I just wish there was a little more creativity coming from Lexington. When you get the ball on the counterattack, everybody's first motion should be to be pushing forward, whether that's a full sprint, providing that depth on the outside, or timing your run there at the back line so that you can provide that high point, that holding position for your offense. And there really wasn't any of that as Lexington was driving forward.
Alma. Early pass, Wynett will chase. Kenzie Wynett will get there, and she'll earn a corner kick.
I've loved the effort we've seen so far from Mackenzie Weiner. You saw there her physicality on that play before when she was driving up the field, before she got tripped up, playing with a lot of determination, and you can see that energy as she bursts forward there. And then again, drawing her defender out wide, creating opportunities for the defender to have to make a choice.
An in-swinger coming from Amina Ekic. Had an assist from a corner on the game opener. Ekic. Cook will challenge in the air. Player down as a clash. Hannah White a little slow to get up for Lexington.
Just a little bit of contact there on the 50-50 ball as Cook tries to go through and win that one with White. Good to see her get up and walk away from that one.
Hannah White, who spent time in the SEC with Georgia, did score against DC Power, her first goal in a Lexington uniform. Every Wednesday, listen to USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts Marianne Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along all season on the SiriusXM app, and I did see that Spokane Zephyr have Allie Cook on an interview on today's episode that dropped today. Haven't had a chance to listen to it, but excited to consume that interview as Allie Cook, heavy touch trying to ram Perez, wasn't able to do so.
We talked about her a little bit as we were leading into our coverage of the game. She's just so dynamic, and I love a player who owns being that high forward player. And I think she does a really great job of stretching the field. She's aware of where the rest of the defense is too. Just a born striker, Allie Cook.
Matt Thompson not happy with the challenge from Taylor Alma, the captain for Spokane. Moya. Parsons controls. Moya. Verness. A little stutter step from Kate Doyle. Doyle couldn't get round Bourgeois, and Bourgeois pushes it up. But it's dispossessed from Wynett. It's been a really good 10 minutes or so from Lexington in terms of having some resilience and preventing Spokane getting too many looks forward. But realistically, Haley, they've got to turn it into some attack as Watson sends this cross in. It's headed away. Lopez will chase. And Lopez's pressure will earn them a deep attacking throw.
And you see those moments of creativity as we take a look at some of the numbers. They've been great in terms of getting the shots off. I think the problem is they lack creativity in the attacking third. That first ball comes in, and if you're not making contact or not in the realm of making a play, you have to recycle your run, whether it's making a looping, curling run back to the back post or changing your pace and running to the front, just creating some sort of movement. Because right now, Spokane's back line really is just kind of chilling back there, especially when you think about who they have in net. Lexington needs to do a better job, to your point, of just creating some attacking presence back there.
Wynett will chase this. Skiba with some good positioning, shielding out of play. Mackenzie Wynett just making sure that she didn't have an opportunity to get on the end of it.
Little gamesmanship there for Spokane. And I mentioned this, right? When you 2 early goals. 1 early goal is great in a first half, but to get 2 as you approach the halftime break, I'm not saying put the cruise control on, right? But it takes the pressure off of you if you're Spokane, especially when you think big picture. They're one of those teams that's fighting to get in the playoff spot. Well, now you can afford to be a little bit more creative. You can afford to work on your possession and hold on to the ball a little bit more. There's not as much urgency to find the back of the net because you've already done that twice. It really puts the pressure on Lexington to step their game up and almost have to change their game plan to adjust to what Spokane is doing.
Mackin will take this throw in. Parsons flicks it further forward to Lopez. Lopez fighting. Haley Thomas fights harder. Jo Johnson told us she wanted to make sure Lexington didn't hang around. So far, Lexington have hung around in this 2-0 deficit. Spokane looking to push further distance ahead here. Wynett, early cross, just not quite the quality we've come used to seeing from Kenzie Wynett.
Just got a little happy feet out there. She could have afforded to take a touch or two and allow some more bodies to get crashing into the box, but it's kind of what I just talked about. Spokane playing with a different level of freedom right now, pinging the ball around, and they're actually having a lot of success coming through the middle of the field. We know a lot of their game plan, they like to stretch it wide with Ekic and Jaskitic on those flanking sides, but they've had a lot of success coming right up the middle against Lexington. Good news for Spokane, not so great for the Gals in green.
Alma gets it back. Wynett chests it down. Here's Wynett again. She plays Bourgeois in. Bourgeois trying to get round the defender, cuts back. Bourgeois puts it into an area, cleared by Watson.
Bourgeois is so dangerous on that right side. Not only is she speedy, but she's really good at picking out those passes. You saw there that cross delivered with a little bit of pace. I think sometimes on the outside we get a tendency to want to always serve that big ball into the box because it's easy. You give your team rather opportunities to get more chances on net. But I love her ability to drive those balls in. It makes it easier for the attackers to just redirect as it comes through.
Matt Thompson penalized Mackenzie Wynett there. And in fact, it wasn't a foul, just a throw in off of a crunching tackle from Wynett. As Wynett again goes to ground, this time to possess Kate Doyle. Hannah White back to goal. Tests out her goalkeeper there with that long back pass to Skiba. Skiba, beautiful pass from the keeper forward to Mackin. Mackin driving, taking the green grass ahead of her. And then under hits the square pass. Vernus, though, able to get there. Libby Moore will save it. And it's all the way back to Madison Perez. Mackin. Parsons has seen a lot of the ball on this right-hand side. Mackin in a shoulder battle with Ali Cook, and that's fantastic work rate from Cook to win this back.
And how about Cook to win that ball where she did, making her jog back up to her typical center forward role there.
Who says forwards can't defend?
It's me.
You might not have liked to defend. Ali Cook seems to enjoy that part of the game.
Definitely. And it's always good, too, to have a player who's willing to do that. Sierra Hinson, Mia Corbin, other examples across the Super League of players that actually like to drop back into the line of play and get more involved.
Moore was able to win that one back. She'll play it to Moya. Moya drives. Parsons will receive. Parsons with a crossing opportunity, takes it. Parsons, Hope Heisey yet again. Right place, right time, clean hands.
And it's a great ball in from Maddie Parsons. She's having so much success, to your point, down the right side of the field. And I've noticed as well, that's when Spokane sort of brings the pressure. They leave it a little bit more open. Maddie Parsons able to beat her one defender and play a ball in. But again, look at the positioning of Lexington attackers. They just aren't crashing the box, I think, the way that they should be. The moments are there, but that final third, that final touch, once the light bulb comes on, Lexington could be a totally different team.
Still Cummings' goal in the 6th minute, and Amina Ekic in the 13th. The difference between these two sides, kicking off week 29 of USL Super League action, edging closer and closer to those first ever inaugural season playoffs. June 7th, the semi-finals will be hosted. June 14th, championship weekend. Parsons in an unfamiliar position of the pitch there. She's able to connect with Vernus.
You see her kind of check her shoulder and say, oh, look where I am on the field. Maybe I should not play around with it back here in front of our box.
Sam Stockley says she has a knack for showing up all over the pitch, and she wanted her to be more disciplined. Not sure that was as disciplined as he'd like, with a lovely curling ball. Going to ground was Ali Cook. Matt Thompson doesn't see anything there for a foul. Ekic has the drop of Thomas. She'll find it. Thomas further back. Clark to Thomas, and a big tackle from Parsons. She's allowed to put that one in. Haley Thomas, a floated cross over the head of Weinert. And here come Lexington driving forwards. It's Kate Doyle. Parsons finds it, and Parsons rushes the back pass. Shea Moya. Matt Thompson sees a foul in front of him. He'll award Spokane Zephyr a free kick. As we see a yellow card coming. Sydney Cummings finds herself in Matt Thompson's book with the caution from that free kick. And that's a big decision from Matt Thompson to go to the books as we see what drew Sydney Cummings into the caution.
And it's that grab there. You see it with the left hand. Good physicality with the feet, but unfortunately, anytime you see those hands grabbing at shirts, at shorts, at anything you can get a hold of, and it's a booking.
And that yellow card is presented by Hicks and Funson. Joe Johnson said, no set pieces. Well, guess what? Madison Perez is about to serve this one in as we edge closer to the halftime break. Perez hangs this one high. It's flicked away by Spokane's back line. It'll be cleared further afield. She didn't want any set pieces, but if she has to deal with them, her team will be very satisfied with the handling there.
And it's good to keep Lexington scoreless at this point in the game. She talked to us about wanting to win the first 15 minutes, the last 15 minutes, and some increments in between as the game has gone on. Certainly they have done that throughout this first half.
Parsons gets the throw. Stepping across was Alyssa Bourgeois. Not much time on the clock for Lexington to carve out an opportunity. Parsons goes to ground. Lopez drives it. Parsons couldn't get onto the rebound. And Parsons there to recover the loose ball. Moya spinning. Needs to go. And they won't have enough time to create another opportunity. A 6th-minute Sydney Cummings goal gets Spokane Zephyr off to a fast start. Amina Ekic adding the second in the 13th. Haley Sutton, your thoughts?
Well, I think Spokane has looked extremely organized from the opening whistle. Obviously, getting that early goal certainly helps set the tone for the rest of the matchup. But I'm curious to see what offensive adjustments they make out of halftime. They have looked really great up until this point. I think for Lexington, this game isn't over. It's unfortunate when you're down 2-0 going into a break, but there's certainly been those moments of brilliance, those chances created that Sam Stockley talks about. He's going to have to find a player who can be that featured offensive player as well. There's just nothing happening in the attacking third, and it's been a struggle to find that finish.
And it's hard not to continue to talk about Spokane's mindset of needing to put Lexington to bed. Last 2 times these sides have faced each other, Lexington has been allowed to hang around, and Lexington actually leading the series with a victory and a draw in the first 2 meetings between these 2 teams. Spokane looking to pick up their first ever victory against Lexington. Well, we're now joined by the lady of the minute, Amina Ekic, a goal and an assist in the first half. Amina, congratulations. Your thoughts on that first 45 as a whole?
Thank you. I mean, I think we started off strong. We followed the game plan. We knew what we wanted to do. We executed. And it was very, very good that we got those two goals early on coming off of a recent game and away trip.
Amina, we talk a lot about your offensive ability and your ability to stretch the field, but Coach Joe Johnson says it's your defense actually that has stood out as of late. What have you thought of the defensive effort so far in keeping Lexington scoreless in the first?
Yeah, I mean, I have great communication coming from behind me. The main goal is to stay inside and don't let the ball come inside and force it wide, and then hopefully get out there, have someone slide out there. So we've been keeping them wide, and I think that's what's made us successful.
Well, Amina, congratulations on your first half. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you so much.
That was Amina Ekic, who had a dream 45 minutes. Her assist on a Sydney Cummings goal and then an individual goal. The difference between these 2 teams. Halftime score, Lexington SC 0, Spokane Zephyr 2. When we come back, we're going to get into news, notes, and so much more.
Success isn't a game of chance. It's about making the right moves. Just like Lexington Sporting Club, Commonwealth Credit Union aims to win by helping you defend your goals and keeping your money on the attack. As the official credit union of Lexington Sporting Club, we're empowering success on the field and in your finances with smarter banking options and unbeatable service. Are you ready to take the lead? Then get the home field advantage for your finances, only with Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
We live with you, build with you, grow up with you, and dream with you. At Central Bank, we belong to the same communities you do. You're our neighbors, friends, and business partners. And through the relationships we build with you every day, we consistently serve you better. That's what highly personal banking is all about. We start with you.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least insulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Welcome back to USL Super League action from Lexington Stadium. Lexington currently trailing Spokane Zephyr 2-0. Jessica Charman, Haley Sutton. We're going to take a look around the news and notes from the USL Super League, and it's all about the young guns right now. DC Power and US Youth National midfielder Valentina Perrotta becomes the youngest player, 14 years of age. What were you doing at 14?
Not playing professional soccer. And it's interesting too, Jess, because we were on the call for the DC game where they had another 14-year-old make a debut as well.
It's all about the young guns. Carolina Ascent are cruising. They have been magnificent so far this season. And let's give Hope Heisey, Spokane Zephyr's goalkeeper, some love. She is currently leaving the Golden Glove race. That is decided by the best goals against average across goalkeepers. She leads there. Now, Haley, the schedule. It's a busy weekend in USL Super League.
Definitely. I'm looking at that Brooklyn-Lexington game, mostly because it is the game that I am on the call for. But listen, it is so important for these teams to pick up results, particularly for teams like Tampa Bay and Fort Lauderdale, who are all on that playoff line.
Now, I've got eyes on Dallas Trinity versus Fort Lauderdale United. Dallas Trinity, before that game, will be hosting a disability soccer clinic, and those efforts empower individuals with disabilities, recognizing the importance of inclusivity and equal opportunities. That is exactly the message from the USL family and beyond. Delighted to see those opportunities to bring the beautiful game to everybody. Well, we've got so much more beautiful game to get into. It was a banger of a first 45 minutes. When we come back, we're going to get a look at the highlights and the stats. Stick with us here watching USL Super League. Welcome back to USL Super League action. It's Lexington 0, Spokane 2. Let's have a look at all the action of the first 45. It was a quick start from Spokane, a great save from Skiba.
A little bit of a lucky fall there for Kate Murray, who gets the look on goal, but it's a great save from Skiba. But then the goals started coming once again off the set piece. As it kind of is redirected, Sydney Cummings gets in, and we talked about it during the run of play there. Skiba standing in her goal, so she makes the save, but unfortunately, she makes the save in her own net, so make it 1-0 for Spokane.
And it would be another quick bang-bang punch that Lexington received. Here's some great work on the wing for Spokane.
Bourgeois showing off the speed and the strength. This ball has no business sneaking all the way to Amina Eckett. She lines up all the way from Texas, it feels like, to knock this ball in the back of the net. It's great skill when you look at it up close there, using the outside of her boot to sneak it past Skiba for the 2.
To be fair, Lexington showed heart, they showed resilience, having an opportunity here to get back into it.
Hannah White gonna get the last touch on this. Unfortunately, not able to get any power on it. She just redirects it to that back post, but still she forces Hope Heisey to make the save, and Heisey does just that.
And in a 2-0 scoreline, Lexington still feeling alive, and as you look at the statistics, the score may be differential, but they are still very much well within this game. When we come back, we have second half right around the corner. Lexington still with a lot of fight left in them. Will they get a doggy surprise? Who knows? Because Lexington currently trailing 2-0 to Spokane Zephyr FC. Stick with us here. We're back at Lexington Stadium. Lexington SC hosting Spokane Zephyr FC. Jessica Trom and Haley Sutton here with you as our referee. Matt Thompson getting ready to blow the second half whistle as Lexington kick it in. And we are back underway. 45 minutes remain in this game as Spokane Zephyr look to go a 6th game on the trot, unbeaten, and currently 4 games in a row without conceding a goal. Joe Johnson, Haley has worked some magic.
And sometimes that's really all it takes, is just building and finding that chemistry. It's not always about the strong start, right? We talk about with Carolina, that 11-game unbeaten streak setting the tone from them, and then they hit some adversity. I think you're kind of seeing the reverse with a team like Spokane that struggled just between the travel and the players in and out of the lineup, struggled to find that consistency. Now in the spring, they have their solid 11 starting roster. They have their game players finding their form, and it's starting to show in terms of the wins.
Wynett takes this one down. And around the defense. In the end, Libby Moore toe pokes it away, but it does set up a corner kick, a fantastic start out of the blocks by the visitors.
Really important for Lexington in this moment as well to defend this corner relentlessly. You cannot allow an early goal for Spokane, especially when you're already down 2-0. We showed the stats at halftime. This is a closer game than the score or the numbers really indicate here. So Spokane, if they can hold Spokane out of the net here, it'll be huge for Lexington.
It'll be Amina Ekic again, tasked with serving in the delivery. With a stutter step, second try now. Ekic drives this one under and onto the roof of the net.
Almost an Olympico there for Ekic from the corner spot. Just a little too in-swinging, though. Ultimately not a threat for Skiba in net.
Ekic has already had an assist from a corner on the game opener in the 6th minute. Sydney Cummings capitalizing on a beautiful service. That one left a little bit to be desired. Both sides go into this second half of action unchanged. Sam Stockley told us last time out in their defeat at the hands of Tampa Bay, he wanted to leave the same players on the pitch to try and make amends and continue to battle, and he's opted to do the same today. As Joe Johnson not happy with a collision there. Matt Thompson blows his whistle for a foul. Murray. Bourgeois. Ekic will fight for it. Here's Murray again. Great little move. Murray. Jaskinek. Connecting with Murray again. And eventually cleared away. Lopez with a good dispossess. Then the pass too easy for Sydney Cummings to come and clear. Bourgeois, such a quick and tricky player, blessed with pace. Played most recently in the USL League with Cal Storm. And again, it's that pathway to professionalism that we're seeing in USL with the W League, allowing collegiate players a chance, and now an opportunity to step into the full pro game in the USL Super League. The landscape of women's professional soccer just looking brighter than ever with the Super League and all it has to offer.
And it's just an opportunity for these players ultimately to stay home. I think that there's such a conversation that has to be had about women's soccer and how we treat the professional level, because for so long, your options were you could move overseas to a place like Iceland or Sweden, where if you're born in America, it's a difficult transition.
Wynett was trying for Cook. Cook will fight through it. Cook gets it to Ekic! And Amina Ekic toe pokes it home. Ekic has a brace, and Spokane have their third. Another rapid start out of the blocks.
And it's just a poor bit of defending, I think, from Lexington here. Ekic is going to get the final touch, but even when this ball started, this ball played in to Allie Cook, sneaks through. She has not one, not two, but 3 opportunities on net. And if you're Trinity Watson, you have to come through that ball with the clearance. It just feels like it was a 50-50 ball when it should have been cleared out. And then the relentless effort for Amina Ekic, puts her at 7 goals on the season so far. But she has had her fingerprints all over Spokane in terms of their offense. She has worked hard defensively as well, making a case for woman of the match easily.
And that goal number 7 pushes Amina Erkic into 3rd joint place in the Golden Boot race. Bourgeois, outside boot pass, streaming forward, continue. As Erkic trying for that hat trick.
And now she's feeling it, the confidence, that burst of speed there. I almost wish she would have gotten a little touch on it just to see what would have happened. But again, it's a poor bit of defending from Lexington here. It just seems like their back line pushing a little too high up, and when they get caught on the counterattack, it leaves those spaces that Coach Joe Johnson talked to us about in playing against the Lexington team that likes to sort of change their formation with the ebbs and the flows of the game.
We've seen a couple of looks of Sam Stockley, and he's got to be tearing his hair out right now after all that regrouping in the halftime locker room to concede again a dagger punch in the 50th minute. And it just feels like this game's starting to get beyond Lexington.
It's such a challenge mentally as well when it goes from 2-0 in the first to now 3-0 early on in the second. It's just hard to bounce back out of that mentally. I think Lexington, that's been a really big talking point for them. A positive for them is that even in those results that just haven't looked very good on paper, the effort has always been there. It's just that they're missing that final touch.
Here's some more effort as White tried to find Lopez. Katie Doyle will get it. Doyle, early cross, Lopez the target, defended tidily.
But look at the back post, Jess. 2 players not making an effort to get in the box. It's what I keep talking
splitting
about.
pass forward to White, and White stumbles. Hannah White has stayed down after that awkward stumble. It's one of those non-contact moments that you just hope Hannah White is okay.
Looked a bit like her boot got caught there as she was making a run and got caught in the turf. But to your point, as we get another look at this, it's a great run in for Hannah, but you see there on this step, foot just gets caught in the grass. She loses her balance. Good to see her jog it off, but she'll need some ice at the end of this one.
Hannah White, the 23-year-old, this is her first professional contract, 8 appearances, 1 goal so far for the gals in green. Lopez couldn't get there ahead of Cummings, who was able to dangle a high boot to get a touch away. Stinked forward, Wynett will chase. Wynett, all guns blazing. In the end, Libby Moore able to defend, but she does give up another corner kick set piece. Be sure to visit lexsporting.com to get your latest Lexington SC merchandise and discounted ticket offers. That's lexsporting.com. Corner's taken quick to Murray. Murray, top of the box. As a strike comes in, Bourgeois with the strike, Skiba with the save. Wynett couldn't finish the second opportunity.
And that's a positive feeling for Skiba there. Hasn't had the best game between the pipes, but certainly a confidence boost when you can get a big save like the one she just showed.
So we get another look at this strike coming in. Bourgeois and Skiba just gets something on it. And at the end of the day, it didn't go in the back of the net, so that a positive, as you say. Doyle trying to release White. White will get there. Good work by White, powering forwards. White cutting round the defender, still has it. White goes to ground. Thompson shakes his head. Lexington's bench are up in arms about that no call.
And there's a little bit of contact there, but I definitely don't think there's enough for the penalty. I think as well you have to keep in mind White's still a little banged up from that fall that she took just a few moments ago, but certainly no contact. I think a good no call from the referee.
It is a positive sign that Hannah White was able to wind her way through forwards. And now Lexington have an opportunity from a free kick. Matt Thompson has a yellow card in his hand. This yellow card will be presented by Hicks and Funson. Get another look at that opportunity for White inside the box. Great footwork and tenacity from White. Clark with an extended arm.
Oh, so as we get another look there, you don't see it in real time, but there was a full extension there from Clark on the back line. And then we see the yellow card there as Weiner gets assessed the yellow.
Wynert, the second Spokane player to find herself in the book of Matt Thompson. It's Mackenzie Weiner and Sydney Cummings on yellow cards for Joe Johnson's side right now. Now we've seen that replay. That extended arm was risky business from Sarah Clark inside the box. Lexington cutting through danger. Great work from the gals in green. The strike is deflected. White pokes it. Great save by Hope Heisey. She gets her hands up and makes a save.
And just when you think Lexington is going to find a way through, this is a beautiful touch, by the way, from Nicole Verness, who got on the score sheet in that game against Tampa Bay. I love her getting her shot off, but Spokane defensively just throwing everything but the kitchen sink at Lexington in this moment, and then Heisey being able to get a touch on the final shot there. There's a reason why this team has so many consecutive shutouts as this season has gone on.
Hope Heisey, the 23-year-old goalkeeper, looking to preserve her fourth consecutive shutout, as it will be time for Lexington to make their first substitution of the match. Is Cynthia Cabezas coming in to the match in her fourth appearance for the gals in green. The Colombian on loan currently, arriving here by way of America de Cali in the Colombian leagues.
Replacing number 3, Emma Jaskinek.
We also see Sophia Braun coming in for Spokane, the Argentine national team player, featured in the 2023 Women's World Cup. Emma Jaskinek substituted out of the game for Spokane. Kate Doyle also removed to be replaced with Cynthia Cabezas. Murray. Forward to Ekic. Inside to Clark, who had an involvement in that recent contentious moment inside the box.
And you almost wonder what a goal, even a penalty, would have done for the morale of this Lexington side. The referee has a choice to make, and I get it, he's in a tough position there, but man, it just seems like Lexington always has these moments of build-up where you think that they're going to find a way, and then something, a spectacular save from the opposing keeper, an offside call, whatever it has just prevented them from finding the back of the net.
Referee awarded a free kick. It was Verness getting fouled. I do like to believe that these things tend to even themselves out through the course of the season, and Spokane fans will say that they felt like they've had a couple of no calls on penalties. Who would be a referee after all? The hardest job on the pitch. Hannah White crosses this one in, and it will be a corner kick for Lexington, and today's Lexington SC corner kicks are presented by Commonwealth Credit Union.
That's a Commonwealth Credit Union corner kick.
Madison Perez will swing this corner out. Move it blasting. Fans hoping they'll get an opportunity to roar. Perez. It's lofted. Headed clear away. Moya flicks it back into the danger zone. On the volley, Parsons couldn't connect. Looked like she might have struck the boot of a Spokane player.
That's the player you want the ball falling to in those situations. Parsons has been very dangerous out wide. We talked about the position change when it comes to her positioning on the field. They wanted her as that central forward, that target player, but because she likes to float, Sam Stockley found that the outside of the field actually benefited her more, and she was able to get in on the attack a little bit more.
Venice. Spinning 360. Drops it back into the back line for Watson. Madison Perez. Perez chips it forwards, taken down tidily by Moore. Cabezas will get her first touches since arriving as a substitute for Kate Doyle. She'll get it back. Great work from the Colombian. Cabezas charging forward. Through another challenge. And Cabezas pass a little too predictable. Wynett picks it up.
And I love the effort, the change of pace there from Cabezas. Unfortunately, the decision-making on that final pass, you would have liked to see it sneak through early, but again, a spark off of the bench, certainly something Lexington could use in this second half.
Moya, outside boot. Cabezas pops it back. She mentioned just a change in dynamics since she's come off the bench.
When you can see her movements as well, too. She's passing the ball and then immediately checking out for a new run. She's getting involved and then putting herself in a position to be involved. I know we've only seen her here for a few minutes, but Lexington, I would argue, needs a lot more of that, coming in and finding ways to get involved.
Cabezas. A nutmeg goes to ground. Nothing there. Ekic. Great move from Amina Ekic. Cleared out of play. Fans, visit lexsporting.com to shop at the Lexington SC Team Store, your one-stop destination for all the latest LSC gear and official merchandise. From kits to scarves and hats, we've got everything you need to show off your club pride. That's lexsporting.com. Cook. Across to Ekic. Ekic, early cross into the danger zone. Wynett went to ground. Cleared up, but Cook will head it forwards. Lexington hang on, sending this one forwards. And Bourgeois can't keep it in play.
I like the early service there from Ekic coming from the right side, catching Lexington just a little bit off guard. I think, honestly, it caught her teammates off guard as well with how quick it came in. But she's been so effective on that right side, driving passes into the box.
Unforced error from Lexington from their throw-in. As Bourgeois controls. Ekic and Bourgeois connect. Sarah Clark. Splitting pass forwards. Double team by Lexington's back line. Better organized from the girls in green, but then the clearance straight to the defensive boot of Cummings.
It's hard for Lexington right now, playing such defensive soccer. When they get these opportunities to go forward, I know they're trying to find net, but even there, another turnover, you have to have a focus on possession and holding on to the ball. Otherwise, you're giving Spokane even more opportunity to build on their lead.
Sarah Clark to Cummings and across to Ekic. Ekic. Connecting at the top of the box, Ekic, early pass. Cook goes to ground. Referee subs the ball. White. Dancing with the possession, distributes wide. Parsons connects with Mackin. Mackin through the first challenge. Julie Mackin driving forwards. Mackin has options in the box. Spokane stay organized, It's out for a corner kick for Lexington SC, and it's presented by this one back towards the penalty spot over the head of Cabezas. Deflected out of play. There'll be a Spokane throw, and that will allow Jo Johnson to look ahead to the fact they have another game. That's 3 games in 7 days, so she will empty her bench now, bringing on Jodie Ukekul, Natalie Vigiano, and Reese Tappin. Amina Ekic, Alyssa Bourgeois, and Ali Cook will be subbed out. And Amina Ekic, Haley, has had a miraculous role in today's scoreline.
Well, it started with the assist, and then she gets in on the scoring herself. And I guess when you like scoring so much, you find a way to do it again in the second. She has found her fingerprints, her boot prints, whatever you want to call it, all over this game today for Spokane. Jo Johnson going to be really happy with her overall effort in this game.
And when you have so many games in a short space of time, like Spokane Zephyr are going through right now, very, very important to keep one eye on the future, particularly when that game is coming up against Carolina Ascent in Charlotte, North Carolina. The battle between the 2 hottest teams in USL Super League right now. Goodness, if you are not watching that one this weekend, I don't know what you're doing in USL Super League.
Something has to give between the 2 of them. Both are riding pretty heavy unbeaten streaks as well, too. So it's one of those things where you wish that both teams have fun, but the reality is we're inching towards a playoff spot here, and these teams are going to have to bring it through the last stretch.
Pass forward. It's kind of White trying to get round the defense. West 6 Brewing is proud to be partner of Lexington Sporting Club with dynamic taproom locations all through the state of Kentucky. You can enjoy West 6 locally crafted beers for all of your adventures. Enjoy a Stadium Ale, the official craft beer of Lexington SC, at all home games or at your favorite retailers around Lexington. Lexington trying to find a delivery towards Cabezas. Cabezas gets a touch on the deflection. Tried a little drag over. Was in the end defended by Spokane.
Cabezas again putting herself in the right positions to make a play on the ball.
Jodie Ukekul with a really strong move to draw that free kick. Ukekul has never started for Spokane, but has played in many a game off of the bench. Formerly played at the Seattle Reign in Spain and Italy. More importantly for those fans from Spokane area, was a member at Gonzaga University. That pride runs deep. Free kick awarded to Lexington. Maddie Perez will take this one. The next home match for Lexington SC women's team is Saturday, May 10th at 7 p.m. when they take on Tampa Bay Sun. It's Pups at the Pitch night, and the first 500 pups receive a free dog toy. Be sure to mark your calendars and visit lexsporting.com to purchase your tickets now. Can never have enough dogs in the USL Super League.
As a dog mom of 2, I would love to bring my pups out to a pup event. Dogs in soccer doesn't get much better than that.
I do feel like there could be a puppy going around all the Super League events, just picking up all the different bandanas to rep the teams. You know, they say you can have one team, not dogs. They're allowed every team.
You could root for whoever you want.
Parsons forward to Mackin. It does feel like Spokane maybe disrupted a little bit by their series of substitutions. This could be a moment for Lexington to try and capitalize on.
It's twofold as well. For Lexington, you take advantage of some of the newer faces as Spokane tries to settle into its new lineup. And to your point, a great opportunity to find some sort of result in this game. You don't want to go out scoreless, but that's certainly what they've done over the course of this spring season. They've been shut out in 3 of their last 4 games, Lexington has. So you got to think that's playing in the back of their mind. And for Spokane, I think it's important to see these players getting these minutes, important minutes. Again, when we talk about the postseason coming quicker, sooner rather than later, it's a good opportunity to test that depth for Jo Johnson.
Why not? Back to Hope Heisey in goal. As we mentioned at halftime, currently leading the Golden Glove race, and 70 minutes plus without conceding a goal, and this one as well, extending that shutout to 3 games plus 3/4 of this one will really help her goals against average. That being the measure of the Golden Glove race in USL Super League. The fairest way to judge these goalkeepers on the fact that they have conceded the least goals in their minutes played. I hope Heisey, an interesting story. We saw Izzy Nino play early on for Spokane, but Hope Heisey really made this starting position her own as the long ball served over the top. Skiba volleys it away. Jo Johnson told us she is a student of the game, and you see her saves, but more importantly, it's her leadership and preventing of opportunities. She sits in meetings and learns about the back line and the structure. It was wonderful to hear a player of that nature.
And those are the things you can't teach, right? You can't teach someone to want to show up, to want to do the extra mile. And, you know, on opposite sides of the coin here, we've seen Skiba, you know, try to get into that leadership role. I think in this game, there's just a couple of mistakes and a couple of communication things. It could have been just a little bit better there. But again, Lexington on a different path, I think, than what Spokane is on. So it's just been good for Hope to really lean into that. You talked about how much she studies the game as well. That's also something that you can't teach.
Lexington SC fans, be sure to join us Saturday, April 19th at 7 p.m. at LSC Stadium to support your men's team as they take on Monterey Bay FC. You don't want to miss $1.50 beer nights this Saturday. Get your tickets at lexsporting.com. And that is something that's really special about Lexington, and Sam Stockley, who has told us he was really the brains behind bringing USL to Lexington. We'll be delighted that the men's team is supporting as well. As Weiner into the box, goes to ground. Some appeals, but Matt Thompson says no PK there. Had a couple of calls. 4 penalties being waved away by our center referee for today, Matt Thompson. There's Hannah White for Lexington, who had an appeal for a penalty earlier on in the second half of action. We get a look at Sam Stockley. Shea Moya down on the ground right now. Moya, who has 2 goals and 4 assists, will get another look at that call for a penalty on Weiner.
Not as close as the one on the other side of the pitch. I think this was 2 players going in on 50-50 challenges before we see Shea Moyer go down there with injury.
Spokane making another substitution. Marley Canales coming in to the game. She will replace Katie Murray. Murray, who earned a starting spot in this game, having come off the bench against Dallas Trinity. Got a good 73 minutes under her belt today. Marley Canales has US Youth national team experience, played 10 times with the Seattle Reign. 27 years of age, some good experience to bring off of the bench to see out this result for Spokane and Jo Johnson.
When Canales had one of the best goals we saw in fall Super League play, she has the potential to unleash it from anywhere on the field. A good substitution there, and again, a good opportunity for her to sort of work her way back into the lineup.
Parsons, with an individual effort, ends up being fairly tame for Hope Heisey, but quick feet from the goalkeeper across to grab that at the near post. Stay up to date with the USL Super League. Sign up for the Super newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at uslsuperleague.com/newsletter. Perez. Talked about the next game for Spokane being Carolina a cent away. Lexington next up, Brooklyn away. It should feel like teams might have an opportunity there. Vigiano into the box. Canales, and the offside flag is raised. Won't count as the subs tried to connect to give Spokane goal number 4.
Just got a little too excited with her run as Spokane continued to build. Right place, right time, just pulled up a little too late there. but it always feels good to at least see the ball go into the back of the net. So maybe more to come for Marley Canales, as we've seen this Spokane offense really dominate in their attacking third. She brings fresh legs on as well.
Joe Johnson told her she's got a very deep squad. She's showing it today with the caliber and experience of players that she's able to bring in late into this match. That'll really serve purpose deep into the season. Maddie Parsons. Parsons ends up just treading on the ball. Referee, though, calls it as a corner kick. And today's Lexington SC corner kicks are presented by Commonwealth Credit Union.
Well, you saw the frustration for Parsons after that. It just feels like she ran out of green space in front of her to make a play. It was great defensive effort, too, from Spokane's Haley Thomas, keeping her at bay outside.
Sometimes you just need a strike of good fortune. Lexington awarded a corner. Perez getting ready to serve it in. Perez. This one is looped, and Hope Heisey continues to be magnificent.
Well, she read that ball all the way from the time it was served in. She has been on top of her game, and I know she hasn't been called upon very often in this matchup, but the moments that she has, I've liked her confidence when it comes to holding on to the ball with her hands. She's made really strong decisions as well when it comes to coming out and getting those balls too.
Foul is called. Cynthia Cabezas down on the ground after that contact. Cabezas looks like she might be having an issue with cramp, which, considering she was a substitute, a little concerning. She hasn't had consistent minutes. Lexington now, interim head coach Sam Stockley making a quadruple substitution.
And it looked like for Cabezas, that ball that was driven in went straight into her chest.
Because at this point, with just over 10 minutes remaining, you don't necessarily have a fight back into this game, and it's one eye on Brooklyn and give other players an opportunity. As Moore will play wide. Parsons, a couple of step overs. Maddie Parsons, her shot deflected.
Just hasn't been Maddie Parsons' night. She's found herself in so many scoring opportunities, whether it's being the player to deliver the assist or putting herself in front of net. Just seems like it has not been able to click to this point.
Emma Johnson takes the throw into Cabezas, who's back on her feet after that initial suspect cramp. Moya to the box, connecting. Further wide to Johnson. Johnson, great feet by Johnson. Emma Johnson, the Academy player, made her USL Super League debut back in September. Has featured in 9 games since then. Again, Academy players, such a great initiative from the Super League to get those young players minutes. Lexington appealing that they earn themselves a corner. The referee will signal goal kick.
I like the cheekiness there, though. Trying to convince the referee that it's going to be a corner kick, but instead it is a goal kick for Spokane.
Stay informed about all things Super League. Visit USLSuperLeague.com for all the latest information, analysis, and insight into the league. Cabezas. It's defended well by Tapin. We got there ahead of the Colombian Cabezas. Naira Lopez has slotted into that back line, replacing Trinity Watson. Another candidate for a back line that has seen a lot of switching personnel. Sam Stockley said it's up for grabs right now, and after conceding 3 goals, Naira Lopez will feel like she has an opportunity in these 10 minutes to impress her gaffer and maybe get an opportunity to start.
And it's so important to have a solid back line. Building that chemistry, I would argue, is one of the most important parts of building your roster. They are your last line of defense other than your goalkeeper. When you've got Skiba, who has just been berated with attacking chances for Spokane, she needs some support from the line in front of her.
Parsons. Forward to Mary Kate McGuire. Did score against Spokane in the 3-2 victory that Lexington had over them. It's Joe Johnson. Must be extremely satisfied again with another result, and as things are now, a clean sheet as well. Parsons, ball launched forwards. Moya will flick it on. Cabezas the target. A long searching ball for Winewski to chase. Perez. Spokane's high pressure forces a throw in. Tempo of the game obviously starting to drop now as fatigue, but also that competitive edge maybe dropping off as Lexington realize the mountain extraordinarily high to climb at this point.
And we talk about finding positive moments in a negative situation. And I think Lexington has had some positive moments. We've seen their combination play build, as we also see the emotions build as well.
Just saw Cabezas get a little frustrated with the positioning of the free kick. A hand into the chest of the Spokane player. So we get another look at that contact. Sophia Braun getting the push from Cabezas.
Right message, wrong messenger maybe there for Cabezas, trying to get the spot correct for Spokane. Don't want to give up any extra inches than you have to, but certainly let the referee handle that side of the game.
But good discretion from our referee, Matt Thompson, to not feel the need to pull a card in that moment and just have a stern talking to with the young Colombian player.
And that's what I was going to say, the age showing a little bit there. Again, the frustrations of coming into a game where you wanted to make a bigger impact than you have to this point.
Cabezas just 18 years of age, will turn 19 on May the 1st. The strike over the crossbar. Weiner with her head in her hands there, was looking for her second goal of her Super League career. Wasn't quite the connection she would have liked.
More of a defensive clearance than it was a strike.
Johnson draws the free kick. Again, the Academy product has been a live wire since coming onto the pitch. 17 years of age, this Lexington squad. You start to look through the roster and the ages of the player. Sam Stockley was very transparent that this is a young team, and sometimes it's displayed in their decision making. As Mary Kate McGuire goes to ground, no free kick given. Nairo Lopez. Madison Perez. Searching pass for Cabezas. Cabezas thought she'd earned a throw-in. Instead, it will be a Spokane Zephyr throw.
Listen, I like the energy that Cabezas has brought onto the pitch. She's been a little bit fiery in moments and has tried to at least convince the referee of certain calls in her favor. But even now, you can see it, the defensive effort, trying to get a toe on these passes to help slow up the Spokane possession.
Vitriano crosses it in, gets a touch off of the boots of Lopez into her goalkeeper's hands. You just saw Sam Stockley telling his young player, though, calm down, it's okay. But that's an ignition of energy there that helps your team kind of believe when you've got a player that's fighting for you like that.
Sometimes you need that feistiness. You need a player to bring sort of that energy to energize the rest of the team, because we've seen Lexington get a little stagnant to this point. It's a good move there.
Shea Moyer with a nutmeg. Couldn't get on the end of the ball, but Parsons will fall to her. Back to Mary-Kate Maguire. Maguire has the drop on. She finds Winewski.
You see Parsons as she's trying to pick out her pass, holding her hand in front of her face. That late afternoon sun here in Lexington causing some issues in the dying minutes.
Wynett run out of steam as was looking for Jodie Ukekel ahead of her. Opening up now, a tad bit as we approach stoppage time. Mary-Kate Maguire across to Parsons. Parsons looking to earn a corner, and she's able to do so. Great individual work from Maddie Parsons, who has still got gas left in the tank to earn a corner kick, which is presented by Commonwealth Credit Union.
I know I sound like a broken record when I say this as well, but you can't say enough about the effort, at least, that Lexington has put out in this game. We're approaching the 88th minute. We might even be in the 88th minute at this point, and still players out here giving their all.
Perez looking for options in the box, getting a little frustrated with the movement ahead of her. Puts it towards the penalty spot. It was over the head of a leaping Lopez. And then the strike, just not good enough there from the young Emma Johnson.
Have to take your opportunities in front of net, certainly, but I would have liked to see Johnson maybe settle that pass a little bit. She didn't have a lot of time, but she did have some time to take it out of the air and set herself up for success just a little bit better.
Hope Heisey in absolutely no rush to take this service, and no goalkeeper in her boots would be. It's the art of slowing down. And she just launches this one clear, looking to preserve her 4th consecutive clean sheet. Mary-Kate Maguire couldn't get onto the end of her own pass. Hope Heisey quick off of her line again. Heisey had a decorated career at the University of Arizona, was the all-time saves leader during her time there. Did spend time on contract with KC Current, but has really come into her own in a Zephyr FC jersey. It was the November and February team of the month. Have to think she's going to get a nod right now as we approach the end of April.
4 consecutive shutouts as well, especially in this league where everything is constantly changing and different teams are waking up at different moments. It can't be understated how difficult that is. 1 shutout, let alone 4 in a row. She has certainly been a huge key to this turnaround for Spokane in the spring.
Maguire was looking to find a way to get round Reese Tapin. Tapin uses her body tidily to shield that one out of play.
I'm so jealous of her long flowing ponytail. I know that is not at top of mind for her on the pitch, but it is so nice to see it flowing behind her as she's running.
Welcome to the WOSO world as we see 2 additional minutes of stoppage time here. Long searching ball. Ukekel was not quite able to get on the own of her own touch. She's been a good outlet up there. There's a whiff from Cummings, who has the game-winning goal in this game in the 6th minute as things stand. It's a goal from Sydney Cummings and a brace from Amina Ekic. 1 in the first, 1 in the second half from the Bosnian international that sees us here in this 3-0 scoreline as Spokane Zephyr continue to soar and really start to look like a realistic candidate to push into that top 4 for USL Super League playoffs when those kick off on June the 7th. Cayetas. Across to Maguire. Maguire's cross is blocked. And then the work rate again, outstanding from Sarah Clark in the dying moments of the match to put in that slide tackle and prevent any opportunity.
And I've spent a lot of time talking about the work rate from Lexington, but that right there sort of defines why Spokane able to walk away with this one, we'd imagine, as the ending whistle coming in just a few moments here.
Emma Johnson. Wynett defending. Johnson able to get the cross in. Cummings sends it clear, and Wynett further forward. And that will be the final whistle from Lexington Stadium. Spokane Zephyr continue their rise up the table. Another victory in the books for Joe Johnson's side. This time a 3-0 win away at Lexington. Haley Sutton, your thoughts?
I think it just was a continuation of that first half for Spokane. They have found their form, and I know we talk a lot about Carolina and the way that they have controlled this league for much of the season, but Spokane really has figured out their missing piece. They have found their identity, able to find the score, or the back of the net rather, and score in multiple ways. I think this was a complete game from Joe Johnson's side, and she'll be really happy when she goes back and looks at the film.
Well, final score from Lexington is Lexington SC 0, Spokane Zephyr 3. When we come back, we're going to have the highlights and an interview. So make sure you're sticking with us here with USL Super League action on Peacock. Final score, Lexington 0, Spokane Zephyr 3. Welcome back to Lexington Stadium, where Spokane Zephyr have defeated Lexington 3-0. Jessica Charman, Haley Sutton. We're now joined by Hope Heisey, the goalkeeper for Spokane Zephyr. And 4 clean sheets in a row, Hope Heisey. What has been the secret of this defensive record as of late?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer that clean sheets are a team stat, and it takes all 11 of us to make it possible. I think we've been really diligent in our press, and so it starts kind of from the top down with the forwards doing their work, and then we have incredible outside backs that can defend 1v1, and our center backs are rock solid. So it's really a whole team effort, and you know, we're really proud to continue to keep building defensively.
Yeah, Hope, it just seems like right now everything is clicking for your side. Take me back to the winter break and the conversations that you guys were having to set yourself up for success in moments like this.
Yeah, I mean, we always knew we were a really talented group. I think we just had to put the pieces together, and I mean, winning is a habit, and I think we just had to find how to make that a habit, and we came into the spring with a really positive mindset and knew that if we put together a collective goal that we can achieve it together because we're a talented group.
You're a talented group that's taking on another talented group this weekend in Carolina. Lexington was relentless through 90. What do you take away from today as you prepare for another big match this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, Lexington really likes to attack in the wide areas and cross it in, and I think that's also what Carolina's strength is, so we kind of got to test ourselves a bit with that today. I thought our box defending was really, we did really well with that, so continuing to just be relentless in defending the wide areas and know that it's a big challenge coming up, but we're more than prepared for it.
Well, Hope Heisey, thank you so much for your time. Go enjoy the celebrations, and good luck in that Carolina Ascent game.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
What a delight that was, talking to Hope Heisey, again leading the Golden Glove race. Let's take a look at the highlights, Haley, and it was a quick start for Cummings on the header.
Yeah, Heisey quiet in this one because her offense did so much of the work. Initially didn't know if this went in, but we saw on the replay there, Bridget Skiba standing in goal when she made the save. So it's 2 in a row for Sydney Cummings off that back line.
Well, it wouldn't be long before, yet again, Spokane were able to find the back of the net. Some great work by Alyssa Bourgeois.
And it's that burst of speed that really sets the tone for Spokane. Not a great defensive effort from Lexington, but don't let that take away from this finish from Amina Ekic. She gets her full boot, full laces through it, even some of the outside as well, curving it past Skiba.
Well, remember that name, Amina Ekic, because she's going to get another opportunity here. Ali Cook with not 1, not 2, but 3 opportunities, and then Amina Ekic with the toe poke.
And it's a relentless offensive attack for Spokane there as Ekic gets the final toe touch. A great afternoon for her as she gets 2 goals and the assist.
And as we get a look at the statistics, Spokane with 12 shots, 5 on target. For Lexington, encouraging for Sam Stockley, the fact that they created 8 chances.
You always have to find positives, and I think he'll be happy with the fact that his team had effort for 90 minutes, and they were able to test Hope Heisey in big moments, but the attacking third there for Lexington just still needs some work.
We talk about it being go time when it comes to the playoff race. Let's look at the standings right now, and 3 additional points for Spokane. It hasn't moved them in the table, but what it has done is continue to put the pressure on the pack. If they can pick up 3 points against Carolina Ascent, who knows what can happen for Joe Johnson's team.
And remember, Spokane Zephyr a couple of games back at this point from some of these teams in those top standings, so wins are so important as we close in on the postseason.
Well, it has been a delightful start to week 29 of USL Super League action here in Lexington. Spokane Zephyr able to put away the nightmares against Lexington and pick up their first victory against LSC. Your final score from Spokane: it's Spokane 2, Lexington 0. For Jessica Charman, Haley Sutton, our entire crew, thank you for watching USL Super League. Headed away